Yeah, it's the Archivest, y'all. Exclusively interviewing Grieves and Budo.
This is good.
And
Yo, did you plan this?
No, but I am wearing all denim.
He's wearing a Canadian tuxedo in Canada. Bam!
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
When in Canada.
And who is Grieves and Budo?
Well, I'm Grieves.
And I'm
and
Budo.
This is Budo in the Canadian
So you
tuxedo.
got that.
And when you first began, share on your first album, Irreversible, and single with Mr. Liff, and what inspired your emceeing in hip-hop as a whole, and beginning of production for you as well, Budo.
Irreversible was like that was that thing that I've been making songs for years, and I've been putting them together in just like a home studio and stuff, and I never really thought that I was gonna compile all that into an actual album. I never really thought about all of this in the grander scheme of things, I guess, but I got together with my friend Matt, and we started talking about the music that I've been making and how much that I had, and we started coming up with like a business plan and stuff like that, and put out Irreversible independently by ourselves. And Irreversible, the song Irreversible, is actually the last song ever made for that album. It was we were recording Mr. Liff in the studio that we had started. We were working on a project that he was doing with Willie Evans Jr. So he was there, and I started talking with him, and I felt like the album was missing something. And of course, since it was my first album, I was like, I have to have a title track because it's cliche and I need one. But I played him this song that I had been sitting on, and it was a song about my grandfather and just about how much I learned and didn't even know that I learned as a kid from his music and his presence in my life and stuff. And I played that song for him, and Mr. Liff went home and wrote his verse about his pops and his record collection and stuff like that on him. And it came together just to be really like the perfect piece that I needed to complete the album. And then put the stamp on it and ship it out there for the public, and it did a lot better than I thought it was gonna do. And it was a nice beginning to a very fun career.
And your beginning production?
I had no hand in that record. That was before he and I started working together.
Oh, okay.
I was working on some other things, but that was all Mr. Grieves production work and
incredible. And being posted in the Washington Post and Minnesota Weekly, super impressive.
Fuck yeah, that's my publicist because she's a badass. Hey, boo boo. That was really
great.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's gay. I mean, it's married.
Like not like gay, like in a bad way. Just
like,
it was slightly
like
homosexual. Yeah, it was fruity. That was a good way to put it.
And being from Chicago many years, now working with Budo, share about the many years that you guys have worked together, Seattle, and collabing with Macklemore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Macklemore is this guy's.
Yeah. So around the time he was working on Irreversible, I had been working with Macklemore and put out a record with him called "The Language of My World." That was the first. That was speaking of kind of the beginning of my work as a producer. That was the first sort of full record that I had a big hand in. Yeah, I don't know. So it was a fun process and definitely opened a lot of doors for me in terms of just getting a little bit of recognition, getting some traction in the local Seattle scene, and I think that was a big part of why we connected. Is just that he had been sort of doing Irreversible and supporting that record and performing it around town and around the country really. I'd started kind of my career as a producer at that point as well, and we fucking formed like Voltron, and
One of your first successful beats that you've made that we should know about?
Well,
every fucking single one I rap on.
Have you heard the Lil Wayne record, The Carter 2? No, I'm just kidding.
Didn't do it.
Not me.
Didn't do a
Not
single
me,
song.
bro.
Everyone just gets real quiet. Even me, I was like, "What did you do on the
fucking
Carter?"
kidding me? No, I mean I haven't. What I love doing is making records, and I love working with artists like in a holistic way. And I've never been the type of producer, and I never will be the type of producer that can sit down and make a single or make really like fully like make beats for artists in like a piecemeal fashion. Like it's something that for me it's like with Grieves and I, we sit down and we make records together, and we don't really sit down with the intention of making hit songs, making any type of music that fits within a certain specific category. We just sit down and make shit, and then with Together Apart 2 years later, we had this cohesive collection of stuff that we had collected over 2 years. We had a record, so.
And South by Southwest, part of Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And how did this go, as well as Soundset, CMJ, touring with Atmosphere, and the group Illegitimate Children.
And hold on, there was a show about 2 years and a month ago.
What?
We opened for Melissa Etheridge.
Oh yeah, we actually did.
So we should probably add that to our list of accomplishments.
Live, alone, and on
our,
fire.
It's not on our
bitch.
one sheet, but it should be.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking crazy, actually. There's a bunch of lesbians with like rainbow umbrellas, like camping out all day waiting for Melissa Etheridge to play. It was like outdoors. It was wild.
And they got bum rushed by.
Yeah, all our
children.
kids like pushed forward, like you could just see them like fighting their way through like the lesbian crowd.
Weird
It was
stuff.
pretty badass. But then they were jamming after a while. They were swinging them fucking umbrellas around and stuff. It was
Can
good.
I ask you a question?
For
What is
sure.
Molson Dry? What is a dry beer?
It's a dry beer. Molson Canadian. Molson
I've had
Dry.
Molson. I've had straight up Molson. I've just
Molson
never
Dry.
seen Molson Dry. And the fact that they're selling it with a picture of a wave.
Yeah, big
seems
old
a
wave.
little
It's
fucking weird to
contradicted.
me.
But to answer those questions that he avoided by putting Melissa Etheridge under the bus.
Right. She's fine.
She's a great woman.
She's doing well.
Great woman. It's been ever since 2006 to this point. It's been like a progressive, incline of work, and it's every year it gets better for us. And every year we sit down and think about what we want to do that next year, and we come up with plans and we come up with ideas. We toss it out there to the universe, and it comes back, and it's been really, really good. Like those Atmosphere tours, really solidified us with like the underground rap heads. All those Rhymesayers fans. That put us out in front of them, and that was good. And then Warped Tour was a chance for us to develop kind of our own twist upon that fan base, because that's younger kids that don't listen to hip hop, that listen to like shit. But they stop and they listen to you and they like it and they have a good time, and then they come, that they're yours then. You got them hooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after, it's taking what you were given and then building upon it, which is what pretty much this past year has been for us.
And we make a point of setting realistic goals, but goals that definitely push us. And I think each year we've reached almost each one of those goals that we've set out for ourselves. And it's it's a combination of not being like, I want to fucking go on tour with Weezer, don't like shoot the moon, but that would be awesome.
It would be really good.
Next year.
Okay.
We'll shoot the moon.
And 88 Keys and Counting, share on the project and what it did for you for the album.
Well, that was the first record we made together, and the first song actually we ever made together was Guinevere, which is on that record, and it's the song we end our live sets with. And it was a very different process than 88 Keys. We kind of sat down and we had this set amount of time to make an album, and we did. And we spent like 2 months demoing songs and kind of tossing stuff back and forth, and then we went into a studio for about a week and a half and just really built an album in a really compressed period of time. And it's super cool for that. It's this awesome kind of representation of a very, very short period of time, whereas Together Apart represents like 2 years of life. 88 Keys represents like 2.5 months.
Yeah, we banged that out pretty fast.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever made a record like that.
Me too, yeah.
Because we pretty much came up with, he would send me beats, I would write to them while he was at work and send back demos, and then we compiled a whole entire album of demos, and then we went to Colorado for like a week and recorded the whole entire record.
So we had like this week and a half period of time between when we left Seattle and we had to go on tour, so it was
crazy. And
nuts.
to be able to like maintain like focus on, throughout that whole process was like, that was changing for me, because I get sidetracked real easy. And I don't know if I could have done that elsewhere, because the place was like in the middle of nowhere, and the studio was real secluded, and we just went there and banged it the fuck out, and then literally hopped out the studio into the van and went on tour. It was pretty intense.
And the Confessions of Mr. Modest features with the Cunning Linguists and POS and P Smooth.
Yeah.
Out of My Mind, tell us about your project.
Well, that was, we had put out 88 Keys and Counting, and we had a bunch of songs and we were working on it, but we didn't have a label or anything like that. We weren't signed to Rhymesayers at that point. And when we signed with Rhymesayers, they wanted to re-release 88 Keys and Counting. So what we did is we took those songs that we'd been making, that what we were thinking about for Together Apart, and we compiled the Confessions of Mr. Modest, which was, when we were living in New York, and we just got off tour and just started banging out songs. And those are a lot of those songs that we did on that record. And that was kind of like a, okay, I know you already own this album, but if you pre-order this album, you get this album for free kind of thing. So we gave that away with the pre-orders of 88 Keys and Counting. So it was a way for us to give back.
It was a process record too, like it's a window into kind of like the interim, like the middle part of making Together Apart. Like it was basically like right in the middle of 88 Keys and Counting and Together Apart. And so it allowed us to share some of those songs that maybe didn't fully fit in the direction that we wanted to take like the full length record, but that still felt like we wanted to share with people, you know. And it also, like, you know, those features with POS and with the Cunning Linguist, those are two groups that we toured with during that period of time, and it was cool to kind of, you know, there's like a reciprocity there that's kind of, it's cool to sort of mark that time with those features and with those songs, and sort of in the middle of that record making process. So.
And a lot of accomplishments, and highly skilled in the underground, now touring for Together Apart. Share anything that does come to mind and the project. It is very incredibly amazing.
Thanks, man. It was, that's our baby, man. That's what we've been working so hard for. That record is what we spent so much time making, and then this process of us now touring it and supporting it is something that we've always wanted to do. Is like have that record and have that momentum and watch what happens with something that you love so much. So it's been really cool, but it's our first day of this tour.
Yeah, I got butterflies right now.
Yeah, I don't really know. We haven't played like a lot of these songs yet, so it's it'll be interesting. There's only one way to find out.
Let's fucking do it.
How long did the project take to make?
About 2 years. From the time 88 Keys came out. I mean, there's songs in there like Heartbreak Hotel was a song that Grieves had written and made before Irreversible came out.
Yeah, that's true.
So that
Back in
kind
2006
of predates all that stuff. But basically, the meat of the record is sort of took form over the last 2 years. So.
And being signed to Rhymesayers as opposed to before.
It's great, man. I really can't complain. The way that they work is very like-minded to the way that we would work if we weren't with them. But the benefit of being with them is, A, they're all really amazing people. It's like a family over there. And their resources are strong and loyal. Like, it's been amazing, man. Like, just to be able to work with such happy and, like, progressive and cool people has been a really nice breath of fresh air, because you don't really get a lot of that and on the business side of music, at least. So I feel pretty damn lucky to have what I have.
Evidence put it to me this way: he's been on Capitol Records, he's been on major labels, he's been on done their own shit. Like he's done a wide variety of stuff with both, you know, his solo career and Dilated Peoples. And he put it to me like this: he said, "This is the absolute best label situation I've ever had, because I've got 5 people that wake up every morning that are excited and passionate about working on my music." You know, you don't find that at Capitol Records. You don't find that at Sony Records. You don't find that at, you know, other independent labels. Like, you've got other independent labels. They're smaller though. Like Rhymesayers has this kind of amazing support staff of folks that are all just fucking family and like just incredibly dedicated to pushing the music. So it's cool.
And the largest tour and the biggest crowd that you've ever rocked? Red Rocks.
Yeah, we just played Red Rocks with Atmosphere a month ago, pretty much. And that was like 10,000 people. It was badass. I grew up going to shows at Red Rocks as a kid in Colorado and stuff, and holy shit. It was insane. It was one of those things where you couldn't like help but yell. Like, you're what's up? I mean, hi. Like, you're just jacked up there, like 10,000 people. It was badass.
Yeah, that was
it
one
was
of those.
Really cool.
It's like if you die, or if you go deaf or mute or something after a day like that, like you're okay. You know, like it's like one of those days that just it's impossible. Like, we could probably keep doing this for the next 40 years, and I'll still remember that day.
That's gonna be like your high school football career.
Yep.
Like those old dudes that back in high school, I got all
Friday
the
Night
pussy.
Lights right now.
I had the ring and the jacket. Got all the pussy.
And the best hip-hop memory you have been part of or contributed to for each of you?
That might be it, to be honest. To see Atmosphere put 10,000 people in a place is absolutely fucking phenomenal. And the fact that he allowed us to be a part of it and let us be main support was insane. It, like, everybody was flying so high. Like, you could have dumped all the beer out, gotten rid of all the weed, and everyone was just so high. Like, it was the most amazing feeling I've ever really had as far as like a performance or stage goes, and knowing that my boss put him there, you know, like Atmosphere put those people there. That is badass.
It's a special thing.
And you guys have anything to say to Canada?
Thank you
I
for
love
allowing
you.
us into your beautiful country. You guys got really hot chicks and really good food, and we're pumped to consume both
Enjoy
of them.
both of them.
You guys have anything else to add to our interview?
No, man, thank you so much for hanging out
Yeah,
with us.
thanks,
Show,
man.
and you guys got any shouts?
Yeah, to the fucking Archivest for being the man.
Yeah, baby.
To the
yeah.
Sweatshop Union.
Oh yeah, Sweatshop. Meddy's my man. It's my boy right there.
And shouts to
And
Rhymesayers
shouts to Rhymesayers, and shouts to CJ, my sound guy, for being so handsome.
and
shouts
Mary.
to Colin.
And
Mary.
this is the Archivest.
Yes.
And you already know the name, y'all.
Get some.